Hello everyone, welcome to the Weapons of Miracles mod, which is basically an extension of the Epic Fight mod. I'll be showing you and explaining a bit how this mod works, but first let's get it installed. It's important to note that this mod is currently only available for versions, well, for 1.18, 1.19, and 1.20.1. It hasn't been updated since then. It's a mod that hasn't been updated for a year. This means we need to follow some specific steps to obtain the mod, so let's get started. First, we'll need the Weapons of Miracles mod, as you can see with Epic Fight here. Under Relations, you'll find Epic Fight, which we'll also need, so let's open it. Now we'll go to Files, then Mod Loaders, Force, All Versions, and 20.1, and once we have this version, we'll click the three buttons and get the file. We'll save this file exactly as is in the Minecraft folder. As you can see, the last game update was on November 10th, 2024, which is 366 days ago, right? Because today is the 14th. Well, then add 3 more days. Next, we'll go to Epic Fight, then Mod Loaders, Forge, and all versions of 20.1. Here we won't click the 3 buttons to get the file. Why? Because this version is too recent. So what we'll do is search for November 2025, okay? I'm going to the 3rd page, but you might need to look elsewhere, okay? Sorry, I meant November 2024. So I'll go there. 2nd page, we'll choose a version that stands out with 1.7 million players, okay? Let's pick that version. Even this one would work for us. If we choose one that's too new, we won't be able to play, okay? I'm telling you this up front. So pick the one with 1.7 million users because it's stable, okay? And in the end, that's what we want, right? Better to play with a stable version than risk trying one that hasn't been tested. So with this, we can now start with the mod. How can we configure the controls in Weapons of Miracle? Well, basically in the settings, we'll be looking at different specific keys, which I understand are the first things we'll want to adjust before playing the mod. For example, we have combat mode set to R here in Epic Fight Combat. Target lock is set to G. Mobility skill is space. Good. Well, the innate ability of our tool, right? We can bind it wherever we want. By default, it's on the left mouse button, which makes sense, right? This is important because, for example, if we set combat mode to R, as you can see at the bottom left, you know what happens? I also have reload shaders on R, so every time I press R, everything gets a bit messed up. There it is, reload shaders right here, okay? So if I activate combat mode at the bottom left, it changes things a lot, and you'll ask, how so? Well, I get more information. Let me switch tools. There, I can see the charge meter. Okay, down there, see it? And then we have G, right? The G key is used to lock onto a target. I'm not moving the camera right now, see? Look, so you can see it locks automatically. Watch, I won't move, and when the sheep moves, I'll hit it to make it move, so you can see it's automatic. So there, the camera moved. I press G and it locks on automatically, as you can see. And with left click, we can simply attack too, okay? That's what these shortcuts and features within Epic Fight are for. Today we're going to look at the Ruin sword in Minecraft. It's an Ender style sword, okay? It's called Ruin. Basically, it has a normal combo that includes a spin and ends with a thrust. It has the sprint attack, okay? Which is a frontal spinning attack, and an aerial attack, which is a long forward jump, okay? Like, there we got it. Let's see if I can do it again. There it is. As you can see, we just jump and launch the attack at the right moment, and there we see the jump, okay? Its innate ability is especially complex. When charging it by hitting enemies, a blue icon appears, as you can see here, counting the charges, and the sword has 3 variants. First, let's charge it. As you can see, it says 2 there. Okay, so the first ultimate is the static ultimate, which is, as you can see, an ability activates without moving. Without moving, okay? Where basically you create a number of blades around you that pierce through all nearby enemies, right? Then we have the area 1, okay? And once we're jumping, if we attack, we'll deal this damage. Got it? If we put several wardens here and use this ability, let's see, from above. Boom. Let me try to get it. There it is. See, we hit all of them. And finally, we have the sprint ultimate, which is basically a charge when running that creates spikes piercing enemies and granting impact bonuses. So there you have it, okay? Alright, how does the giant axe work? Basically, the giant axe has different functionalities, okay? In the Weapons of Miracles mod, it has a normal combo, which is basically hitting enemies and destroying everything in our path, as you can see. We can continue moving across terrain without any issues. We also have the air attack, which basically slams into the ground, theoretically. Let's see. Oh, look, see? If I jump, I can attack, and then Slam this into the ground, okay? I have a sprint attack, which is a charge. That's what I'm showing you now. Its innate ability is Berserker mode. When charged by hitting enemies and activated, you enter an altered state where you lose health constantly, as we're seeing, and in exchange, you attack much faster and deal approximately double damage. The state ends automatically when health reaches half, or if we press the innate ability again. So how do you activate the innate ability? Well, basically with the left click, okay? While holding the right click and pressing the left click. So left click, right click, left click, right click to deactivate. Got it? Basically both clicks at the same time. So yeah, here you can see all the abilities available, and that's what the axe looks like, no issues at all. How is the spear used in Weapons of Miracle? Well, basically the spear is one of the legendary weapons, and it has 3 basic attacks. Basically the ground combo, which is a succession of chain strikes, right? The air attack, which is a special move you perform while jumping, okay? As you just saw, this spinning attack I just did is the area attack, right? I can also strike from the air, as you've seen. Let me fix the camera, there it is. I don't know why I'm in creative mode. No, that's not relevant. Okay, they work like this. And then we have the sprint attack, which is specifically for attacking while running. Got it? Like all weapons in the mod. It also has an innate ability that charges when hitting enemies. In the bottom right interface, you'll see a percentage, and below it, the number of charges available. The spear can accumulate several charges based on its ability, okay? As you've seen, we've already thrown a few, right? Just hold right click to jump, and we can also strike from the air if we want, okay? So that's pretty much everything. Right, how do you use the blender blaster? These weapons are basically ranged weapons, okay? As you can see, and basically with a single blaster we can do melee attacks with quick punch combos, okay? It's quite similar to punching with fists, not much difference, but we take away a lot more health than with just fists. Okay, then we have the air attack, which is a whirlwind of hits when falling, theoretically. Let's see, there it is, there we have it. There you see it, the swirl of hits. Let me try to... There it is, there it is, there it is. When I spin, that's the whirlwind attack, okay? And then we have the sprint attack, which is a flying kick, as you just saw, and then we step back, okay? So boom, and then back. How much damage does that flying kick do? Let's see, about 7 health points, okay? Obviously, we can fire projectiles without consuming arrows or external health, and the blaster itself recharges over time, okay? The innate ability chains a series of special shots, okay? If you press and release quickly, you do a single ultimate attack, but if you hold and keep pressing the skill key, you chain up to 3 special shots, forming a powerful combo, okay? So as you can see, there we have it, okay? There we have the different attacks where I'm aiming with right click and then I left click, and I can also throw a lightning bolt at it, okay? Theoretically, if I left click and right click, let's see, it throws a lightning bolt, right click, left click, sorry. Well, it kind of does it whenever it feels like it, to be honest, but anyway, there we have it, okay? Alright, how to craft and use the scythe, the Antesia. Well, basically, the demonic scythe is a blacksmithing upgrade, okay? We're going to... Let's take a look. Demon Seal, it's made with the Demon Seal Nether Star and other items, okay? Well, as you can see there, I have the scythe, okay? There are 2 modes for the scythe. A way in which I absorb the scythe and I become the threat, as you're seeing, where, for example, I've been able to create a black hole and defeat a warden with just... So, where can you find the demonic seal item? Basically, it's found in structure chest, and by combining it on the blacksmithing table with the star and upgrades, plus the bugged base weapon that was just shown, you unlock the scythe, okay? In combat, it has a unique animation, okay? Let's take it out. There it is, we have a unique animation. And well, his attacks are, for example, he can attack from a distance, right? With the scythe in his hand. And if the ultimate is fully charged, right? We can transform into the demon. Basically, making the demon enter the player, okay? It transforms you for a few seconds, levitating and attacking with teleporting punches. Got it? The normal hits will take us to the target, and the sprint attack launches a scythe thread, okay? Theoretically, the sprint attack, but of course, if I'm floating, okay, you've seen it there, right? You're sprinting, and bam, there we have it. Also, if you're in the air, it just looks like you punch, and that's it. Oh, look, we've seen it can dash upward and strike. Did you see that? Let's do it again, see if I can pull it off. There it is. Boom, boom, okay? And well, hitting enemies with the wither effect will extend the duration of the transformation. Also, we can create a black hole to absorb creatures like the ones we saw earlier. It damages them, explodes, and applies the wither effect in exchange for consuming a large portion of transformation time. So basically, the scythe is one of the most complete weapons with area damage, position control, and a powerful demonic transformation, as we've seen. How can we use the katana in Weapons of Miracle? Well, basically it's the katana. It has different combos. The first is a normal combo that chains together short strike. They can teleport you and more. It's a weapon that deals a lot of damage and has a very fast attack. Then there's the sprint attack, which basically teleports you to the enemy with a frontal slash. I'm going to try to do it. So you see how it teleported me, right? Boom, it teleports you, see? And then we have the air attack, an upward slash that can launch enemies into the air. Let's see if I can do it. And there we saw it a little bit. So we also have that possibility, okay? As you can see, bottom left, we have the active ability, which is the cherry blossom transformation mode. So first, what he's going to do is make a special cut, as we're seeing now, right? Exactly what he just did. Then we'll have movements that change the style with constant teleportations and very quick cut, okay? As you can see in the bottom left, basically during transformation, charges and such appear. And obviously the more charges the better. Will also deal damage during the transformation and it will last longer. The typical ultimate attack is the anime cut, where, well, it's what we saw earlier with all the roses, where I make a cut like throwing the katana and the enemy takes damage instantly, okay? So that's it. Well, how can we be using none other than the Moonlight? Basically, this floating blade is a special weapon that consists of a blade floating on the player's back. It has a normal combo with many spins, short teleports, and good damage in close range. It also has a sprint attack that teleports you to the enemy's side, as you've seen, and it marks them too. Finally, the aerial attack is an aggressive drop directly onto the target, which theoretically has great knockback. Obviously this is a guardian, right? But anyway, you can see it a bit there too. Then its innate ability is that it launches all nearby enemies into the air. It applies blindness to affected enemies. Right now, as you can see, the Guardian is blinded. When we use this, if I just threw glowing, that's when we apply the blindness, okay? And it also makes the player invisible for a period of time. To activate it, simply hold down the left click and then release to launch it, okay? The problem is that in vanilla gameplay, invisibility doesn't actually affect mob AI, so this ultimate is useful against other players, but not so much against zombies or other creatures, okay? But even so, this weapon remains very, very powerful, and all of its attacks are definitely quite potent. Alright, now I'm going to talk about the sword and shield in weapons of my local. Basically, this introduces a sword and shield that complement the epic fight system, and basically the normal combo is quite similar to that of a katana, right? As we can see, these are fast and frantic attacks. Theoretically, if we're sprinting, we'll perform a dash toward the opponent, okay? As you've seen, doing this kind of spin. And then we have something really cool. If we're in the air, see there, we use the shield to fall and do area damage, which honestly is super cool. I think we can also attack with the sword or chain several hits together. And the shield, there it is. The shield has attacks too, like dropping the shield, see? To activate the shield attacks, we need to be right-clicking, okay, to protect ourselves. And with the shield, there are attacks where it drops the shield, meaning it releases the shield for a moment, and then hits with the hand. There it is, and it returns the shield, okay? That would be another attack. And well, what's the ultimate? Well, the ultimate is basically this attack, right? Where you jump, okay? And there you can see the ultimate stamina getting used up. I just can't get it to work. There it is, there it is. These are types of attacks where there are attacks you do in the air or attack combos where it gradually uses up all the mana, okay? Without a doubt, sword and shield is a very good combo. Anyone who says no, whoever says no, just doesn't know how to use it. Jokes aside, having a shield to block damage and then being able to hit like this, which makes no sense, right? So yeah, there you have it. Look at how to use the solar sword. The solar sword is a fairly recent weapon with a crafting recipe, okay? Theoretically with 5 wooden ingots and an eternal fire arcane, which is very rare. It appears in the nether. You find this resource. Basically, it's just for the weapon, okay? No, it's not for anything else. It has a normal combo, okay, which is a series of heavy hits, as you're seeing. Wow, I activated the ultimate accidentally, okay? So the normal attack is just that. Heavy hits, as we're seeing, that's been quite a bit. Then we have the sprint attack, which is that while spinning, you move forward, okay? There we saw it. And then the A aerial attack, okay, which is basically stabbing the sword into the ground. There it is, and there it is, there it is, there it is. You stick your sword into the ground and just enjoy, okay? A small area attack there. Then the solar sword has a timing system, which basically when you attack, sometimes a flash appears on screen, right? As you've seen, as you're seeing now, okay? So when attacking, if you press the innate ability key exactly at the moment of the flash, you execute an extra attack. Got it? I'm going to try to catch it. There it is. I did it. See? You saw that. Just as I attacked, I pressed right click. Let's see if I can do it again. There it is. There it is. There's the extra attack. Well, I just did it there. The thing is, okay, and then you get the fire snap, and with the blow, you basically break the ground as you've seen, right? You can see how it's broken. And yeah, as I'm saying, if you activate the ultimate, right, with right click, a blue selector appears and stuff, okay? The blue basically means the sword changes to lunar form in a faster way with a new combo and everything. The orange one is where you thrust the sword and launch a linear fire blast, and the red one creates a column of fire. Okay, and so on. Here we have it, okay, in color. The meter depletes while using these forms, and if we remove the weapon from our main hand, progress is lost, okay? Theoretically, though, I don't see it decreasing. So, yeah, as you can see, it's a pretty complex weapon, okay? And I think it's not decreasing because I'm in creative mode. There it is, okay? That's why it wasn't going down. Of course, in creative mode, everything is fun. Alright, so there we have it, okay? Alright, how do the Weapons of Miracle books work? These books are obtained as random drops from enemies, and when used, they unlock abilities in the internal menu that opens with the K key, okay? There we have it. It also disables the shaders. Wonderful. Basically, these give us several slots, right? For example, dodging abilities, 3 passive skills, a special guard, and mobility skills like movement abilities, okay? Most of them are going to be that look, dodge, precise roll. Many books have requirements, okay? For example, to learn Ender's Pit, we first need to have learned the step skill, okay? Got it? But anyway, as you can see, right-click, learn, and that's it. Right-click and learn, okay? And once we've learned the book, we can change the skill within its category from the menu. Let's see what you think. Here we have different options. So here we can pick the ability, right? Some books stay permanent even if you change passives, okay? Once learned, its effect remains active. Got it? Look, here, I just unlocked a double jump or had it already. I think I just unlocked it. So in mobility, the Phantom Ascent, right? Or the Demolition Leap. You select it and there you have it. These are skills that you unlock as you go.